Hi, MH.
Hello.
This is Eva.
April Ludgate Dwyer.
And I am Memrah, or Christiana. For those of you who don't know, I usually go by C on site. If you see that randomly popping up, you stop it. We're going to go ahead and get straight into the questions. Oh, first.
No, we're not. This is a 3-year anniversary video. And it also happens to be my goodbye video. I'm not going to make it to 3 years. My 3 years is in 10 days. So maybe I'll log in 10 days so that I can hit 3 months. 3 years. But I'm moving on.
Yep, she's leaving us. But
she will never move on.
I probably won't. I'll probably be here forever. Yes, those of you.
Can't get rid of her. No matter how hard you try.
Liam cries when he sees this video.
Okay, now we'll start.
Go ahead. Now we'll start with the questions.
This comes from Aowen29.
Becky.
Aowen29. What, in your opinion, is the meaning of life?
Do you want me to really seriously answer this question?
I'd rather you not do it seriously.
Because I could preach at you guys if she wanted me to answer it seriously. So Eva doesn't wish for me to, but I'm sure that the meaning of life is a deep theological thing that Eva would love to share with you.
The meaning of life is a good cup of coffee. The meaning of life is keep your eye on the ball.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Next.
Country. Look it up.
Wow. We've done this before, if you couldn't tell, a few times.
From Crystal
this is our
Link.
third time. Angela. Hi, Ange.
Also known as Becky 2.
Yeah.
Christiana, where did your love of the word rude originate?
Okay. I have no idea. I have no clue. I just started saying it. It just seemed to be the appropriate thing to say anytime.
Don't say that. She's told me the story.
What, I have?
When she was a wee little girl.
Oh my goodness.
Her mom would rock her in her arms. And she would say, Christiana, smile. Christiana would barf all over her face. And her mom would say, rude. And that was her first word growing up.
Sure,
Next.
We'll go with that.
Christiana, who is your favorite CA?
I feel like I need to plead the fifth on this one. I've only had 2. They're both fantastic, but I do have to say that Angela still thinks she's my CA. She still bugs me about the pictures I need to put up and the videos and that sort of thing. So I feel like I have 2, and we'll just go with that.
What is your favorite mug? I'm not allowed to answer this question, although I have the answer because we're at my house. And so I currently have my favorite mug with me.
She does have.
But apparently that's not what this question is about. This question is about some secret little thing so we can talk about how great Angela is. AKA Becky 2.
Yeah, there's a mug in my office. For those of you guys who haven't seen it, check my office in the astronomy tower. It's up in the first post.
Hand me my mug.
Yeah. Hang on. Let's not end up with things all over my laptop.
Disneyland Paris. It's the best mug because it's a giant mug. It's a sparkly mug. And it says that I went to Paris.
She lived there for a while, for those of you who don't know.
And it's got a whole little scene.
Our first anniversary video that we did together, we've done all of them together, but our first one, we were both in Paris at the time. So, special little
Okay,
little
fine.
tidbit.
You went to Paris too.
Yep.
Can I whistle?
Can you? Rude.
I learned to whistle going in. It's easier to whistle going inside.
I can't whistle at
I
all.
was a wee 7-year-old.
I've tried everything.
7-year-old.
It doesn't work.
She's not a smart 7-year-old. What is your favorite MH job?
Well, being professor of care magical creatures, of course. I absolutely adore every minute of it. Well, almost every minute of it. This week has been a little rough because apparently my clues are a little difficult. And then one of them accidentally got deleted. And people were writing to me that they had gotten stuck. And I just thought they were crazy. And then I had to do my own research and admit defeat. What about yours? Even though you're leaving.
Favorite job. I don't know. Not counting badges, because that comes up later, so we'll talk about that later. I think the job I was most excited about might have been bookkeeper. It was a bit more glamorous than it ended up being.
You mean
'Cause,
book duster?
Book duster. Being a bookkeeper is glamorous, too. I was a bookkeeper once in 5th grade when we pretended to be a city. It was cool. I got to give people money, and so they liked me.
Oh, your whole class. I was like, you had to pretend to be a city?
It was cool.
All right, then. So, book duster.
Maybe. Yeah. I actually didn't like it, but I was really excited about it. It was a lot of work.
Yeah, book duster. I did it for her once
when
she couldn't do it.
She even graded her own questions, so fraud.
Yeah.
Favorite MH year?
Are you waiting on me? Oh, year 35 for me.
How do you know that?
Yes, I know it because, well, year 34 and 35 kind of together, but year 35 was the last year that we were kind of in the castle with all the really active people. You know, it was the year that Rob and Emmy and Dewey and Mads and Marie graduated. And so that year and the year before, we had done the Inner House Awards, we had done pranks, we had a duel in Cass's office. It was just, I don't know, it was fun, exciting, and that's also the last year that Slytherin won the House Cup. You know, just throwing that out there.
Okay, then sure, I like that too, because it was the end of Slytherin's reign of terror. Yeah. It was my favorite year. And that's my real answer. No, I don't know. What MH subject do you enjoy but not love? So we have to only like it a little bit?
Right, well, yeah, I only have to like it some. I mean, I really only loved a few in the sense of I looked forward to my homework all the time. And so most of the others fell into the category of I enjoyed them but didn't get super excited. So data, charms, potions, transfig, you know, transfig when I took it was a little different than it is now. It wasn't quite as enjoyable then. But yeah, those probably pretty much.
I remember the ones I loved.
Astronomy and magical healing, for those who don't know.
I loved astronomy. Ganchi is like the greatest. Does she still teach that?
Yeah.
She's the greatest teacher. Because I like classes where I can learn stuff that I can, I don't know, apply to my other life. And I just loved...
I don't at all.
I loved astronomy. And I loved... No, I didn't actually love history of magic.
I said magical healing.
I'm talking to myself.
Oh, okay.
I found an answer.
Okay.
History of magic. I liked it, but I didn't because I just didn't... I don't know. I would do the homework wrong, or... I don't know. I have an answer, but, you know, he likes really long answers. I don't like really long answers.
Particular answers, I would say.
No, not me. And so, yeah. I mean, I liked it because it was history, but I didn't like it because it was work. How did you two meet?
We have a mutual friend that had been telling me that I should meet Iba for ages because we were both missionaries and soon to go on the field, and she just thought we would have a lot in common, and she had a gathering at her house one evening, and we were both there.
A gathering of souls.
And what's really terrible about it is we became best friends, and we still love her and see her, but I'm much better friends with Iba.
She accepts it, though. I was just at her house, and because Christiana never even sees her. And she's always like, how's Christiana?
I feel once every 2 months.
I'm like, oh, I see her every week. And she's just like, oh. And then I was going through something, and she wanted to ask a bunch of questions, and I was like, not sure I want to answer all these questions. And she's like, well, as long as you talk to somebody about it. And I'm like, I talked to Memrah about it. She's like, yeah, I know. I know you do like each other more than you like me. And that's
Nicole.
Okay.
We're different. She has kids, yeah. and
Christiana does not like kids.
It's not that I don't like kids. I don't really know what to do with them.
She doesn't like being around them.
I've gotten better with my 2 nephews. I have 2 nephews now, and apparently I'm good with them. They like me anyway. I don't know why, but they do.
I don't know why.
Right? I'm not fun. I'm not the fun aunt.
But when we met was also when I heard about MH.
Mm-hmm.
I told the story last time, but I had to prove that I was a bigger Harry Potter fan. But I have since realized that MH is not totally about Harry Potter. I am still the bigger Harry Potter fan, but I am also leaving.
That's true. She is the bigger Harry. She's more. Yeah,
it's a part of my life.
I love it, but yeah, she can get a little obsessive.
Okay. If you became admin, what changes would you make on site?
I'm not sure we should answer that question.
I'm ready. Okay.
She's leaving. She can answer this
My
question.
current pet project was to try to create more like a home place for purplers. Because when I left Ravenclaw Tower, I felt lost, when I graduated, not just left Ravenclaw Tower. Like, oh my gosh, I'm in Hogwarts, where am I? But when I graduated, I just didn't know where to go. And so I really wanted to create, like a place for Devin and a place, or even like a place for Godric's Hollow, just like little groups, like kind of like the common rooms used to be, where you'd have threads, you could just go hang out, you could just go in and say something stupid, and but you have like a little group, and anyway. And that didn't fit other ideas that are going around, and they had good reasons. But if I were admin, I wouldn't care about those reasons, and I would make it anyway. So that would be my first act as admin. But I'll never be an admin, because my response is to run away from things. And for some reason, admin don't get promoted if they don't do things. I mean, come on.
Right? Right? Yeah. We'll go with that answer for her. I'll just keep my mouth shut.
A different month, I would have chosen a different thing. But that was my last big idea. Okay. If you could bring back one person from each house from inactivity, who would you choose and alumni count? Good, because I don't know who is in houses right now. I would bring back Mads from Ravenclaw. I saw her on Skype the other day. I didn't see her, but I spoke to her. I miss Mads.
Raven Cookie, by the way, for those of you who don't know who that is.
I forgot her name.
We're so used to using real names with people. Well, you know what I mean?
Use your real name.
Right, she calls me Memrah all the time. Like,
I called it to her mom
to my mother.
Today.
Yeah, it was funny. That's really tough. There's a lot of people that I miss. Disa came back for a while. She would have been my number one from Hufflepuff.
She really wanted Disa to come back.
Yes, I did. I think she's mad at me about something. I don't know what, but that's okay. I still love her to death. I would probably say I really miss Sean. Chantal Elegantius is her username from Hufflepuff. She was fantastic. I miss
calling her Chan. I was sad when I realized that wasn't her name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because she spells it with two N's, and so it can be kind of confusing when you just read it. But I miss Noemi still from Slytherin, who left.
Noemi was my mentor. Yeah, I'd bring her back.
Mm-hmm. Mirabelle, for those who don't know her username. From Gryffindor,
Eddie Drew. He's probably kind of active-ish.
Joe's in and out. He's kind of there, kind of not there. Same with Rob. He's kind of there, kind of not there. I had somebody in my mind all of a sudden that had just totally left, and I can't remember who they are.
I can think of a Hufflepuff. Oh, well, I guess it's just decent for you. You're a Hufflepuff.
Yeah. Well, I said Sean for Hufflepuff. For me, a Ravenclaw. I also really, really loved Madge. She was great.
She wouldn't come back for you. So. She would come back for me. She wouldn't come back for you. It's true.
That is true. I'm sure that is very
Which
true.
badge position was your favorite?
I've held all of them.
We both have. But I hold the distinction.
We've both held all three.
I hold the distinction of holding two at once.
She did hold two at once. So
that's the only thing I have
briefly.
That's the only thing I have.
They all have pros and cons. I was really disappointed when I was first made QC because, well, the book kind of paints it a bit of a demotion, I would say. And even on site, there's certain things QCs are technically not supposed to be able to do, but prefects never do them anyway, so it's not usually noticeable. But then I discovered she did forever. But then I discovered that QCs actually typically have more responsibility because they're still expected to do all the prefect things in addition to their team, and I loved training my team. I instituted all sorts of trainings. We did beater training forever.
And when I was QC, she basically coached my entire team through me. I'd be like, what do I do about this? What do I do about that?
That's true. She would write to me, don't worry, Slytherin, I didn't give away all of our secrets. I really didn't. But I did tell her
I
like
saw
things she could do
inside
to
your
help her
secrets.
team. She really didn't. But so I really, really loved that. Head girl is both a blessing and a curse. A blessing in the sense of you have a lot more freedom with a lot of things instead of just having freedom in Slytherin, which Genshy had pretty much always given me a lot of freedom there. But you have a freedom in a lot bigger area. But you also have to deal with a lot more problems. There's a lot more stress. But the position was different back then. We had a lot of kind of grunt work, I would say, to worry about with the post office and different stuff that the current head students are really free from. I really liked that change, by the way. That was good for them.
My favorite was prefect, by and far. That was my favorite moment on Psy, was when I became a prefect. Like, I still remember it, and I still remember how excited I was, and just the elation that came from it. And that was my favorite year, aside from their last year. Just exploring all the new stuff I could do, just like revitalizing the common room and working with that. That was just the favorite thing that I did. And I was real upset when I got put down when I became Quidditch captain, because I loved being a prefect so much.
Mm-hmm. And she had, given me such grief for it that now she had to kind of eat her words
and
a little bit.
I'm not huge on Quidditch. Like, I wasn't one who played it much. Like, I tried to play once, but I was like, I'm not going to check in all the time. Like, you want me to go check on a game? Like, so anyway, then I was in charge of it. And I was like, okay, I want you guys to check in on the game. And I had to run all these trainings, and, like, it was not my thing. But we had a nice group. It was you, me, Emmy, and Dewey. So we were all friends, like all the Quidditch captains of all 4 things. So we had our own little Skype chat, and I mean, it was nice. It was a good year for it.
Yeah, it really was. All 4 of the QCs were the 4 most active people or badge students in each house for the most part, and so it was a really strong. Group of people.
The year that we were QCs, it was a really strong year for QCs.
It really was. But Dewey, by the way, is Croc Hanks, for those who don't know her username.
I said a fun year. But she took it to be like, we're better than you.
Yeah.
That's the difference between a Slytherin and the entire
I feel like
rest
we
of the world.
need Annalise's video at the moment that she sent to me about people being judged for being Slytherins and how they then turned around and were super judgmental on them, because somebody is acting like that right now. We don't need to mention any names. Continue.
Read the books. Okay. I am justified. What snacks do you enjoy eating, if any? No, we do not eat any snacks. We are above that lowly activity. Peasant.
You missed the what are your favorite books?
I'm getting back to it.
Okay.
What are your favorite books, Memrah?
I'm answering the snack question.
I said we were above that. Don't go back on it.
Okay. So.
Books. Ooh, I'll show you.
She'll show you.
I'll read.
Don't read them, those series.
I thought you'd be talking while I did that. You just watched me? You're on video.
It was a dramatic pause. It's a dramatic.
I thought you'd be talking.
Anyway, yes. She's going to show you her books. My favorite books, other than Harry Potter, I really love a series called The Seventh Tower by Garth Nix. It's really, really great.
Nix?
Yes.
Sounds like a country singer.
I know, right? But I really, really love that series. And I also love a series called, it's a...
I found a unicorn in my book.
Wow.
It's a unicorn. That's awesome. I'm shaking the table.
Anyway, Piercing the Darkness and This Present Darkness by Frank Peretti. I also absolutely love.
All right, so yeah, Harry Potter is my favorite. I listen to a chapter every night as I go to sleep because I have trouble sleeping, and Harry Potter saved me. But no, these are the Carnet de Celis. It's a French, fell in love with it. So it's like, I think it's written for like 12-year-olds, but it's really pretty. And it's about this little girl named Cerise, and she wants to be a writer. And so these are her journals. Carnet means journal. And so these are her journals, and she doodles in them, and they're just adorable. And they're like how I learned French. And I'm trying to, because like they're still going. I only have 4. I know there's at least 5 now, but I have to like ship them over from France, so I'm a little cheap. But I'm accepting gifts. Address and like okay, but
yeah. All of a sudden on your screen, a PayPal thing pops up.
But no, they're gorgeous. If you like, because they're in France, they're really big on comic books. Like they're not just for kids. Like there's really, really mature ones that you have to watch out for if you're not a 50-year-old man looking for that. But they're just really into it, and so it's for all ages. But these are more for younger, which is how I could read it, because I don't speak advanced French, but I speak 12-year-old French, and so they were lovely and amazing.
Glad you can speak 12-year-old French. I can speak.
You can speak 1-year-old French.
Pretty much. All right. Wait. Okay, so back to the snacks.
No, we are above snacks. Why do you keep trying to answer that? What do you believe is the greatest impact you have brought to MH?
I don't want to answer this question. I don't know. Not unicorns. They were there before me.
Why leave screen talk?
There's been. I'm thinking. Give me a moment to think.
Okay,
there are quite a few things. Go ahead.
I thought you were thinking.
I was thinking. Go ahead.
No, I think I did a good job on the Ravenclaw common room. We had Chloe. Oh, do you know the rest of her name?
1999.
Chloe 1999, who was our prefect before I became prefect, and she was super, super active, but she was super, super active in the library. And she was amazing. She rivaled Memrah for her number of points in the library.
Okay, fine.
And now that Chloe's been gone for what?
A while. It's been a long time.
MH years, she can admit that. But Chloe also, like, she was an OWL student, and she was also going through testing in her real life. So anyway, she didn't have much time to like do stuff in the common room. And Mads is real sweet, but she works well with someone else. And so when I got in there, I was able to do a lot because there was just a lot of room to move around, and I had a lot of freedom. And I'm very proud of what I did in that house. And Memrah took a poll years later, and asked people who made a big difference in your house, and a lot of people mentioned you. So it's not just me that thinks that. I'm not just being a jerk. Other people, without me knowing, like without me staring at them, said that I did a good job of like revitalizing it, and so that is mine.
It's true.
And I complained so much about head girls having to do post office that they changed that.
That's true. She did.
I complain a lot.
Actually, I don't know why, but that made me think of. I'd probably say I love chess. I've made a lot of difference in chess, I believe. Yeah. But the interactive practicals with the classes would probably be it. We had one when I was a student instituted by somebody just that had become of age just a couple of years before I joined the site. But she left fairly quickly, and then that was kind of the Noelle. She did one thing where it was sort of like what the Charms and Data one this time was, but the student posted, and then she posted kind of a result, and then the student had to post another data spell based on that. And that one thing is the only thing I had seen like that. But the group ones, and then the interactive practicals kind of becoming a regular thing, was sort of not exactly started by me. I didn't try to start it as a site-wide thing. It just kind of a cause and effect. I started it. The students really loved it. They really declared that they loved it on a poll, and then everyone kind of started doing that. And I really love how that's become instituted. So.
Bravo. Do you have any movies on your to-watch list? I do. And I haven't been watching any of them. I want to see Lady Bird and all the other ones that came out.
All of them.
Shape of Water.
Just watch them all.
I was just talking about it today because my parents were like, we saw all these movies. Why didn't you see them? Because I work on Saturdays. And they go see movies Okay, I get off at noon on Saturdays, which is a very normal time for someone to go see a movie. But no, my parents go at like 11 and 11:30 because if you go before noon, you have to pay a couple bucks less. And so, in order of saving $2, they don't invite their daughter. But whatever.
Someone's not bitter at all.
But really good movies. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. I've heard is really good, and it's Missouri, so we live in Missouri.
We live in Missouri for those who don't know.
Not Kansas. Yeah, those movies.
It's been a while.
Oh, and The Quiet Place. I really want to see that. I don't watch horror, but I'm a big Office fan, and Jim from The Office, like, co-wrote, well, I don't know if he wrote much, but anyway, he directed and stars in the movie, and he, like, anyway, it's like his baby. And his wife's in it, so it's like a cute little married thing, but it's not a cute little married thing because it's scary, but I really want to see it.
I used to know what came out every Friday in the theaters and every Tuesday on Redbox. But, really used to know. But
I wasn't commenting on that. I thought of another movie.
Okay. Then I went overseas and got out of the loop. When I came back, I hurt my back. And I haven't been able to sit long enough at one time to see one. So I haven't really been keeping up with it. But I did see the Post advertised, and I thought that looked really good. So.
The Post?
Mm-hmm.
What's the Post?
It's, I don't remember. Honestly, it's been a long time since I saw the trailer, like months ago.
But anyway, my parents, when they went to a different movie today without me, I got off at noon again, they saw the trailer for Fantastic Beasts. And so the trailer's out, and they were like, who is the Jude Law character? And I was like, Jude Law wasn't the last movie. I don't know. Anyway, it took me forever to remember that was Dumbledore. Anyway, they liked his, like, 5-second whatever. And what are you looking up? I can't even see.
I'm looking up the Post. Because...
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, see that's okay. So I thought that was right. It's a Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks. I thought I had that right. Yeah.
You didn't say that.
It's a drama. No, it was in my head. I didn't say it out loud. But yeah, it's about the Washington Post and corruption and all sorts of things like that.
I was talking about Fantastic Beasts, but whatever.
I apologize.
No, I'm done. What is your shoe size?
9 in American female sizes, but I'm sure that translates very differently in foreign cultures. I should say my shoe size. I petite, it's fine.
What would your superhero name be? Oh, so we read this before, and we decided that first we needed to choose superpowers, because you can't choose, we forgot to choose this name for me. We didn't choose names for anyone.
We didn't choose names.
But we chose powers. My power would be to fly.
I would want to teleport. So essentially, if I could actually apparate, that'd be great.
So that'd be more practical, but flying would be way more fun.
No. I would love to be able to go anywhere in the world and frighten my friends to death by showing up on their doorstep unannounced.
And I could carry a broom, and then you'd think I'm a witch flying. Like, I could do whatever I want. And so, what would your name be?
I still have no idea.
Teleportation Tommy. Just a giant
You don't
T.
stick the name teleportation in it.
You could be instant mem. Like an instant pot. Memrah.
Menstant.
Insta-ra.
Oh my goodness.
And like you could take Instagram
And what would your flying
really
one
fast.
be? I mean, how do you possibly put your name in that?
My superhero name would be Iba. Okay? Because I'm amazing. I'm already a superhero.
Keep going.
Okay, well I'm just checking to make sure that I read all those, because if I don't, you're going to yell at me.
Well, I think Ange is the one that's going to yell at you. I know, right? We have to read through a lot of commentary.
People talking about how we're old. I just like to point out she is older than me. Yeah. Not only on the site, but in real life. Sometimes I forget how old she is, but it's true.
You make it sound like it's really, really old.
Barely less than 20 years.
Yeah.
Okay, people, calm down. There's so much chit-chat on this thing.
Yeah, we have to go through a lot of mess.
And someone just wrote, well, I'm still putting questions. Like, no, you're not. That was not a question. Becky.
People sent me some questions on the side in Skype, and I tried to find them, and I couldn't find them anywhere. I mean, I looked for ages.
How old do you have to be considered old? I don't think that was posed at us, but it's a question, so I'm reading it.
Rob posted that question, and that's just him being rude, for the record.
Oh my gosh, just answer the question.
How old do you have to be considered old?
Yes.
On site? You have to be...
Eddie True answered, a baby born 1 minute ago is still 1 minute old. So y'all old. Answer.
Everybody's old.
All right, questions.
From Navi, by the way.
Navi. If you can go back and relive a year, which would it be and why? But
this is supposed to be for good memories.
Good. I'm reading. Oh my gracious.
You were looking at me. You weren't reading.
I'm a Ravenclaw. I can read something and then turn and talk about it. We need a pause. Okay.
Take a breath.
I would relive the year I became prefect. Because that was my favorite year. And it was the end of an era. No, I think it took 2 more years for them to end. But we Ravenclaws worked hard, man. We did.
Yep. They did.
So I'm not too into sports, but we have a baseball team that we love very much because we're a town that likes baseball. And they won really big. Anyway, they're still building up anyway, they talk about how you have to build your program. So you trade sports people for other sports people. So you're not trying to win this year, but maybe someday. Anyway, I only know that. I only understand it because of Ravenclaw. Because we had to work to build up our resources and become a winning house. And now that we're a powerhouse. And no one can stand in our way. I guess now they have rule changes that take away our massive advantage. But before we had that massive advantage, we worked really hard to become the top one.
Might I just point out that both in year 32 and in year 35, when Slytherin won the House Cup last, we did it with 6 people maximum. And we were just beasts. So it can be done. Yeah.
I do not want to be a beast. Okay. If you could go back and change a year, which would it be and why? Negative edition.
I didn't answer the positive one. First, the positive one. I really loved my 3rd year, I believe, is kind of when I really felt like I got integrated into the site. I made a lot more friends, felt a lot more comfortable. I remember kind of that excitement of when you're still kind of learning certain things and getting your groove, and I don't know. I loved the people in our house at that time. It was one of the few times that the Slytherin Common Room has been really active and had a lot of people, so I really loved that.
But that all went downhill once you arrived.
Yeah. Rude. We were saying the bad one.
For me, it'd be my last year, because my last year I had some major medical problems and work problems. I just had a bunch of problems. And unlike some people who can dig deeper into my Hogwarts when their life is a mess, I cannot. And so I was head girl. I had to give that up, and I just took 1 class. I think it may have had 2 assignments. Maybe it was just 1 assignment. I think it was magical healing. That's the only newt that I have. Because it was supposed to be my 2 New Years. I think I had 2 years left, but I ended up just doing it in 1 year and taking 1 class instead. Because I was going to go orange, but I was like, I could take a class. Anyway, so I did that. But if I could go back and do it again, I would have kept my head girl. I would have taken other classes and just really enjoyed my last year. Whereas my last year was basically spent hiding in the shadows because I wasn't active in the slightest. And so I didn't really get to know the new people. And so the common room just had a bunch of people in it I didn't know. And so when it came time to say goodbye, I wasn't even sure that they would say goodbye to me. I was like, well, 3 people know me anymore. What is going on? But June Lovegood was really good about, she got everybody anyway, they made me a very, very sweet little place online to go and look and read all these nice things about myself. And that was just very heartwarming, because I thought that because my last year had been so terrible that they would just be like, oh yeah, Eva's leaving, everybody say bye, here's some cake. But they went above and beyond. But this is negative. So negatively, bad memories. I'm gonna cry about how badly I performed that year. It was the year that I wasn't there, wasn't it?
Year 37. You were there, but you were starting to... No, that was your last year. No,
I don't know.
No, it wasn't. We graduated in the same year, didn't we? Because you left a year earlier. Yeah. Year 37, which was your year with me, with head girl. And that's not why. It's because
my trouble was starting then. So
yes,
you had to
it
do
was.
A lot of my work.
Yes, I did. But it was because Bryce unexpectedly left me.
That really got her.
It really did.
She still talks about it.
I love him. I love you, Bryce. But
he's not watching this.
I know he's never going to watch this. He pops on occasionally, but I don't think he'll take the time to watch this. But he had been kind of my person that was a mentor and really championed for me throughout most of my student years, and he had said that he
got her the teaching job.
He did. He said that he was going to go purple and not leave the site, and real life just ended up getting a hold of him, and last minute he switched that. And so I wasn't prepared for his leaving, and so year 37 was just harder for me than I expected it to be. I missed him a lot more than I thought, because I thought he was still going to be around more than he was, and I don't know, it was just a harder year. Noemi came back, so that was nice, but yeah, that was a tough one for me.
All right, getting at some real questions here. Oh, look, it's a Ravenclaw. Of course, she's getting some good questions in. Christiana, what was your inspiration for tutoring your CA for charismatic creatures with dirty, practical work?
Torturing. I didn't tutor.
I thought that was weird. I'm going to tutor you.
No, this is another thing. My classes are a bit unique in the sense that I require a bit more out of my CAs. In fact, I require more out of them, and they tend to forget that they actually have CA duties to do. I have to remind them every the two I have to remind both of them, and they're both great, but they get caught up in me making them do the dirty work. But I literally just totally felt like it one day. I was doing one of my practicals and was kind of like, how can I give Andrew a role in this? Because she's great. And she was of the age to be a JT. And it used to be that there were a minimum of 3 JT spots open. And that meant that people who were kind of a certain age range, if you were good at it, you would have the chance to be a JT. Well, that changed. We had a lot more second professors and didn't need JTs any longer because we have lower student amounts. And therefore, Liam is the only one that has one currently. So you don't really get the opportunity to do that anymore, very rarely. And so I wanted to give her more responsibility because I couldn't promote her, even though she was like second year owl moving up into Newt soon. And so that's kind of why I chose to trust her with that and kind of see how it went. And then when she, loved every second, of course, I decided to give her more and more until she just got used to having to do all the lovely tasks I made her do, and will soon make Kyla do when she's old enough to no longer be taking my class.
I just read, because you told a very long story there. I just read Navi's thing. She's like, I feel like I missed a wrong video. The last video I remember is when Eva wore an ink blue sparkly shirt. I just love that she remembered my shirt. Was that a 2 year or the 1 year?
I don't even remember. Is that terrible?
I think that was the 1 year.
I don't know. Yeah, no, I think you're right.
Because I think I wore a different sparkly shirt my 2 year.
I don't remember the 2 year one very well at all. I don't remember what I wore.
I don't know where my sparkly shirt.
But I remember what I wore in the first one because it's right here on my screen.
See, then that's okay. No,
oh, right, it's right there.
Look at it. What did I wear? There's a screenshot on the. Okay, so I wore.
No, it's silver.
That was my white and gold sparkly shirt. And so Navi, you did see the 1 year.
You saw that, yeah.
But it was a little bit different.
No, this is the 1 year. So she would have seen the second
2 year. So you saw 1 year ago.
Yes, 1 year ago. That's correct.
Okay. Eva. Question to myself. If you could teach this question. If you could teach any subject, what would it be? Would it be to steal this girl's job? No, it would not. It would be to steal my dear beloved June Lovegood's job. Because that is the only one that I wanted. Magical healing. I loved astronomy because astronomy was awesome and Gantry was awesome. But I loved magical healing because magical healing was awesome. And I absolutely loved it. That's the one Newt that I took because that's the one thing that I knew I wouldn't mind doing. And I did a really good job. I had so much fun on my I had to design anyway, I got extra points. I never get extra points, so I don't do extra work.
She doesn't.
Okay, but I got extra points for my newt that year because I had so much fun creating a whole new little world, and I did it like with this boy who's like unconscious. Anyway, it was really fun. But that job is one of my contentious points because it was not opened, it was just given. And June Lovegood is amazing, and I'm sure, I don't know, but I'm sure she does a great job. But if I were to stay around, I'd be like, if you're ever thinking of leaving, I'm here for you. That is the one that I would steal, even though it belongs to lovely June. I would not be stealing Christiana's job, because I don't want that one. I don't care. I want one and one only. Watch out, June. Okay. If you couldn't be in the house you were sorted into, what would you wish to be sorted into instead?
Well, for Eva, there is only one other option because she has ingrained book prejudices.
I am knowledgeable. I have read, and I retain information.
Whereas I would go I would go into Hufflepuff, probably.
Yes, you would.
Yes, I would, which is funny because I was sorted there once and I absolutely loved it, and I liked that side of myself that was brought out in Hufflepuff. But deep down, I mean, I have
what
traits.
Side was brought out?
I have
a nicer side.
I have traits. I have Hufflepuff traits.
I was there when she got sorted into Slytherin, and she had been sorted into Slytherin on other sides, and so she was hoping that this side would be different, that they would see a different side of her, because on the last side she was in, she felt that the Slytherins encouraged bad behavior.
Well, they like to roleplay, but they like to be the bad guys, and that's not remotely my personality type, and so I didn't fit in very well.
So was a better side of you brought out in Hufflepuff?
Well, yeah, because the side I was on, everybody was really sweet, and...
I read a tweet the other day. It was like, okay, as you know, the headmasters are all sitting around, and they're just like, we know there are 4 different types of children. Brave, smart, evil, and miscellaneous. And everyone's like, yes. So you would be miscellaneous.
I guess so.
You would go from evil to miscellaneous.
Well, I've always... I identify with being a Slytherin a lot now, although I think Slytherin probably fits me pretty well in the definition of, if I really had the option in real life, I would probably be a lot more ambitious than I am, because I can on MH. That's why I kind of am. If that makes any sense.
She's very ambitious on MH.
I'm not
ambitious at all in the other parts of her life.
I'm not passive enough or sweet enough to just be a Hufflepuff on site, but I was on the other because I didn't have aspirations. I didn't think I was going to climb the ladder in any way, and so I didn't try to. So I was content to just be nice and make friends. Because I like to make friends
in my life. Then
I like to make friends.
To be nice and make friends with people if there's nothing else I could possibly do. This is a Slytherin masquerading as a Hufflepuff.
Slytherpuff. I said Slytherpuff. Anyway, continue. Continue on.
Yeah, just continue. I don't really have an answer. I mean, Gryffindor, I guess, but no. Okay. I'm going to read off camera.
She's going to hide.
If you could steal one of the admin's shoes and step into them, especially shifting all their jobs to you, which admin would it be?
Oh, Jess. I love how I didn't hesitate on that answer. Don't worry, Jess. I'm not trying to get your job.
No, the main reason she wants to be Jess is because Jess has the job that she wants.
Which one?
Carrot magical creatures.
I do.
Owl and Newt.
That's true. She's not wrong.
I have heard about this.
Yes. No, I had always wanted the whole class. But I love working with Jess, actually. We're collaborating on something, and I think that's great. But no, pretty much most of her jobs. I really like the deputy's job out of a lot of the admin jobs. I mean, I love head of house. You know, I'd love to be Slytherin head of house. But if a head of house position wasn't open, I really like the deputy. I like the Department of Employment. I would really like that sort of thing, making up what different criteria you need for jobs. Yeah, most of Jess's jobs I really like, except for journalist. I don't really love that aspect. I wouldn't really want to do anything with a profit. Other than that, yeah.
Go big or go home. I would go for Liam's job. He has the most power. Why would you go for anybody else? It's like in chess. Like, unless you have an incredibly great reason to be a horse, you're going to choose to be a queen. Horse, knight, whatever. Okay. Both of you were badged. Do you agree to the statement?
What?
What was your initial reaction when you found out you were badged? And if you had different badges, explain the reaction to those as well.
Well, we hit a little bit on this earlier.
I think we answered this entire question earlier, but it's asked in a different way, so I think we should respect her.
I was shocked when I became prefect. I became prefect in second year, and I didn't know second years could become prefects.
That's true. She told me that exact thing.
I was really surprised.
I don't think I saw you the day you became prefect, though.
I don't think so, no. But yeah, I was really surprised, and so it was just like utter shock and crazy surprise. QC, we already discussed that. It was kind of deflating, but then I really enjoyed the actual job. Head girl, it was... At that point, it was honestly expected.
Oh my gosh, it was very expected. She didn't do it the year before, and that was a problem.
Not a problem, but yes,
that's when
it would have been exciting. No, she said that's what would have been exciting. If I had gotten it the year before, it would have been exciting. But the year I got it, I mean, I was head girl by myself because I was
so amazing.
No, I was the candidate. That's my point. It was not surprising, but yeah. Eva can tell you, she didn't, well, you told me prefect, but you didn't say anything about head girl.
Oh, yes, prefect, I was like, ah! And Quidditch, I was like, oh my goodness. And head girl, I was like, oh, good. Because I was worried they wouldn't actually do that. Because, as I said, I did a good job inside Ravenclaw House. But outside of Ravenclaw House, I didn't do much. There were some naysayers whenever people would say, like, because everybody like talks about who they think would become head girl, and Memrah would tell me like, oh, this person doesn't think you'll become head girl because you don't do anything, and this person, yes, you did, Rob didn't think I'd become head girl because I was worthless, but Memrah was like, no, she does stuff in Ravenclaw. But anyway,
yeah, they didn't. Well, no, I didn't say that. Anyway, what I did tell her. That people didn't see what she did in the common room, and she practically ran Ravenclaw. I mean, she was on it, and so we knew that she was on it like that, and a lot of other people, though, who weren't in Ravenclaw, they didn't see it, so they didn't know.
And so they didn't believe in me, but I believed in me. That's all you have to do is believe in yourself, and you will do anything you want to do.
Oh my goodness. Please. Moving on from that.
Who is your current avatar in your favorite that you can spot? I don't know what that sentence means, but talk about your current avatar, and then talk about your previous avatar, and then compare them. That's the gist of the question.
I've only ever had two. The other one, until recently, was in my signature. I believe I took it out. To put a meme of us, to put a GIF of us in there. But I had that one my entire student years, never changed it. And then hit a point when I graduated that was a little bit more...
No, it was because the green didn't match the purple.
No, I had to change it. I didn't change it. I didn't change it.
Purple.
Right? I noticed. Look at the background too. It's not totally green and purple, but still. But yeah, I had to change it because the colors clashed. But when I chose what I chose, it was in the winter time. I was feeling a bit more of that forlorn, kind of alone sort of thing, and so I just kind of embraced it and went with it. Oh, no. And I've left it there. I might change it at some point again, but
my first one was like a weird elephant. But because I
remember
know what was
that.
Happening.
I remember the elephant. I do.
I was just signing up, and I'd never been on a form before, and I'm just like, why do they want a picture? What's it about? I like elephants. But anyway, so then I got this one. It was Harry and Ron, like first year, and they were at the Gryffindor table, and it's the scene where Hermione walks in after I guess it was the second movie, after she's not petrified anymore. And Anyway, they turn and they smile at her, but they have mustaches, and I loved it so much. But people all thought I was a man, so I changed it. And
her username was different at the time as well, we should say. Her username was not Eva.
Oh, Ishibam.
Yeah, that would also lead more to the male persuasion.
Oh, I do not understand how that is a manly name. Well, you're wrong. I made up the name, so I know that it is not manly. But anyway, eventually I switched to my favorite artist. You pick up that calendar that I put behind you. Masha Diane's. And I say artist, I mean, she is an artist, but I only buy her calendars because I'm cheap. But anyway, Masha Diane's, she is amazing. And so I chose one of hers. This isn't it, but she incorporates Russian folklore with like Russian, and it was like Native American, and like she's just really cool. She's very whimsical, and I just love her. She's big on nature, and I just love her. Do I love her? I love her.
She loves her.
And so that was my avatar kind of growing up at MH. I recently switched it because I was trying to be an amazing mayor, and my role model for an amazing mayor is Leslie Knope from Parks and Rec. Because she's amazing. She was never mayor, but she would have been amazing. But I've recently changed it back since I'm leaving. I thought I'd put it back to the one that people know me with. And look,
which I appreciate because I missed the old one.
Yes, I know. But I was trying something new. But so anyway, I just put it back so that I can retire in state. But yeah, no, I liked it because it brought grace to my. I'm Marion Rob with a mustache. So.
I know, you're a little bipolar there.
It brought a little grace to my space.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Memrah.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give to Slytherin? Okay. Slytherin as in Mr. Slytherin? Mr. Slytherin. Or a Slytherin?
I believe the house.
I'd rather talk to Mr. Slytherin. Monsieur Slytherin.
I'm sure you would. Give him a piece of her mind. I'm sure that's what's coming next. Advice. I would say put your heart into everything, but don't get too wrapped up in
now, is this
having to be certain
Slytherin
things.
Okay. I want to make sure this wasn't like general advice to everybody because I want very specific Slytherin advice.
Slytherin advice. I'm talking to Slytherin. We have a tendency to have different types of Slytherins, and one of them tends to be, well, me. That's very like I have to carry the house. If I have any control whatsoever, we are going to win everything, and kind of stop the rest of your life to pour it into here. And that typically leads to discouragement. And then you have the others who don't have time.
A really messed up life.
It really is.
BT-dubs.
And so then you have the other type that oftentimes doesn't have a ton of time for things. And they can sometimes go quiet and leave. And I would suggest there's a happy medium to be had and to just really enjoy your student years. Try when you can, but don't feel guilty when you can't. And don't leave if you feel like you can't keep up the highest level of energy and activity, but simply stay around because people want you here.
I have a similar question, but it is written differently, and I'm going to answer it literally. It reads, what alive would you give to Ravenclaw? And how I interpret that question is, whom would I sacrifice to Rowena? And I would have to say I would sacrifice Merlin.
How rude.
He's the king. He is the king of Ravenclaw. It would be the greatest honor.
Do you hear this, Merlin? She's trying to kill you.
I am both honoring Merlin and Rowena with this answer. So, wow. You're welcome.
I'm sure he'd really appreciate that. I'm sure he'd just, the honor is. We're welcome. Really good friends with Merlin, by the way, we should say. I'm really good friends with Merlin.
Which image member that you haven't... Okay, Merlin hired me. I was very excited about this job, too. I forgot about this job. he hired me as campaign manager. Before Memrah was friends with him.
That's true.
She was jealous. But he hired me, and then somewhat soon after that, I posted, like, Marie made those GIFs of our first video, and so I put one in my signature that was just like, I think I was
move.
Yeah, I was like a mean girl, like move. And he wrote me that it really intimidated him because he just thought of me as like some little like 14-year-old or something. And then all of a sudden, like, I'm in there, like, I'm older than him, and I'm telling him to move. And he was like, it's like, oh my goodness, like, who did I let into my campaign? Like, what is happening? And we won that year. BT Dubs. It was the best choice he ever made.
And that was when there were multiple candidates in each one, by the way.
And the next year, he forgot to hire me.
And he lost.
That's why I'm sacrificing you. And he lost. And that's why he gets to die.
Is that next question pertain to him too?
I don't remember. Oh, yeah. Which image member haven't you met that you would really like to... It says like... Okay, well, when Memrah read this question, it said, if you had to meet someone, if you were forced to, who would you meet? So, like, you don't want to. And so I thought, okay, if I have to spend money like that, because, I work for a living. And I was like, okay, that's why I don't visit people, so I don't want to spend money. But if I had to spend money, who would I spend money on? And it would be Merlin, because he is kind and sweet, and he has a little baby. And kind and sweet. He's so manly. Sorry.
I'm sure you'd really appreciate this being this top description, too.
And he seems like somebody who'd be really fun. And so that was my answer. And I'd have to go find him in order to kidnap him to sacrifice him as punishment for not hiring me again.
He's got a little bit of a twisted side there, if you couldn't tell.
Logical. Go step by step.
Which ones would I met that I haven't met?
I've met so many people.
That I would choose to... I have met quite a few.
That's exactly what you were saying.
I would still choose to go and meet the same ones again.
I was going to say, you would go see Liam again.
I would go see Liam again. We're good friends. I would also see Amy again. I love her to death. But, anyway, besides all the people that I would see again, which is pretty much all of them, I would see Merlin again, I would see Cassidy and Marie, I would see all of them. But, it would still probably be Bryce. I haven't talked to him in a long time.
Oh, true. And you really want to go to Australia.
Yeah, well, right, exactly. Go to Australia. It's a different part of the world that I haven't been to yet. And get to see Bryce at the same time. That would be great. I would totally do it.
Yeah, because you've been to 6 continents too, right?
5.
Oh, 5?
Yeah, I mean, there's
Oh,
Antarctica.
5. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. We've both been to 5, so if we got to Australia...
I'm pretty sure you haven't been to 6.
I took a summer in Antarctica, all right? I studied ice.
Yeah, we'll go with that. And I've actually met Ella, okay, even though she's from Argentina, so I don't need to go that direction.
When you first joined the site, what was your expectations for it, and how long would you stay? What would it be like? Anyway, what were your expectations?
I expect to be sorted a heck of a lot faster, first of all.
And not in Slytherin.
That's true. But I was actually looking to be sorted. I didn't think that there were other Harry Potter sites out there.
No, it's true. She was just going to sort and leave, like so many people do.
I didn't realize what the site kind of was like. I'd been on a different forum site, loved it, but I was kind of hoping to see if this one was the same, but I wasn't expecting a lot from it. I wasn't expecting the infrastructure that it actually has, like with the jobs and with that sort of thing. That was totally not expected.
I had no clue what to expect. I was just doing it to prove that I loved Harry Potter more than Memrah. I had no expectations. I had never been on a forum before. This is not my life. I didn't quite understand it. But so it was a great little surprise. The first year was rough because I didn't have anything to do. But I was talking constantly to Memrah, who had everything to do. So I felt very like, oh, nothing to do. So I had a lot of complaints that year about having nothing to do.
Mm-hmm. My first year was bored out of my mind too, by the way. You have to get through it. Get through your first year, you'll be fine.
All right. You have to give up one of your jobs to Navi. Which one? I think is the rest of that quote. Yeah, too bad, so sad. Which job would you give up?
Well, and Liam knows this, so forgive me for it, but I would probably give up historian. Historian and goblin are the two that I really like my jobs. I love every single one of my jobs.
She wanted to be them because they are connected to Liam.
Not true.
And that holds status.
Not true. That's really not true.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Historian I wanted to be because I loved history of magic. I mean, absolutely loved it. I thought it would be a really cool job. And honestly, I love the trophy cabinet. So I like updating the trophy cabinets and being able to put all the nice little trophies into the trophy cabinets when I feel like it. So that was the main reason I wanted historian. But there's a lot more to it. And some of it I don't mind and I like it a lot. But then there's so much more where there could be a lot of writing involved if you have the time for it. I just don't have the time and energy, so I don't feel like I do it exceptionally well. I feel like I do a couple of things that I keep up on and kind of leave the rest to, there's supposed to be 3 historians, and kind of leave the rest to them, but it seems that everybody kind of has the same level of time, and those things kind of fall through the cracks a bit. And with Goblin, I really like it. It just takes a lot of time to do the orders, and so I typically only do orders every couple of weeks, and then I'll do like a really giant chunk of them. So it's one of those things that I would survive if I needed to give it up, because I really enjoy it, but it's, I don't know, it's not necessary for my life, and I have a lot of jobs. So, yeah, if I needed to, one of those two.
This job sounds really boring.
Navi already has goblins, so she doesn't need it.
You are now co-head of the Department of International Magic Cooperation, and you are also mayor of Devon.
And you're in charge of PR. Have at it.
Enjoy.
Oh, I should have said that. If I get half my job,
yeah, I was gonna say. I thought that's what you were gonna say. Like, I would
give you the PR half.
This. I hate PR.
Yep. Take the PR half, but I love Mugwump. I love that side of it. So.
What student jobs did you find really striking as a student, but you were not able to obtain?
Goblin. It's funny.
Yeah, but you also had a better answer. You're
book duster. Yeah.
Tell them why you wouldn't become book duster.
No, I wanted book duster. I applied for it twice, but the second time I realized I shouldn't have applied for it, because when you're a book duster, you can't participate in a third of the games, and therefore you can't get house points for a third of the games.
That was just too much.
It was too terrible for me to contemplate. So.
And upon reflection, I remember that I really wanted to be junior teacher, and I finally got it, but it was the same year that I became head girl. And so the teacher wrote me, it was Cass, and she was like, do you still want this? I was like, nah, probably not. And it was a good thing I didn't, because most of my head girl work had to be done by Memrah anyway. All right.
You better hurry up. We're already over an
hour. How
has
image changed your life in a bad way? How has image changed your life in a bad way?
How's image... Well...
Yes, hurry up so read the question 3 times.
I tend to put it as a higher priority than my real life job.
Oh my gosh, she does.
I really struggle with my real life job.
She was rude. She would just focus on MH and not talk to her friends.
That didn't happen. No, that didn't. No, that did not happen.
We had so many talks about it.
I'm in denial about that. I was talking about the job. Okay?
She's gotten much better.
I struggle with my real life job.
Better.
No, I did go through a period where I would get up and check trivia in the middle of the night. I was a little obsessive, and it was in an unhealthy sort of way. I've told Annalise this before, but back when I had to seek for a couple of years because we didn't have a seeker. I didn't want to do it, but I had to. And when I did that, it was so competitive. The seeking was so competitive that year that if you didn't catch the snitch within 3 minutes, you lost. And I couldn't handle that, because I can't handle that. And so I would overnight, on the 1 or 2 nights we expected the snitch to be released, I would wake up and check it every 30 minutes minimum. And that's not a good place to be. It's just, I would not recommend it. Now my issue in a bad way is I struggle with my real life job. I don't really enjoy it. I would probably try to find some other way to procrastinate on it other than MH if I didn't have MH, but I do find myself often gravitating towards MH while I am supposed to be doing my job, because I work from home. I wasn't originally supposed to work from home. It's not good for me to work from home, but I do. And I struggle with proper boundaries there. But like I said, that's mostly because I don't want to do my real life job, not because MH itself is just totally dragging me away from it.
I feel like MH has impacted me in a negative way, but I cannot think of anything. Probably the obsessive whenever you want to do something online and you can't do anything online and like there's nothing to do, so you just go on and like refresh the page, or like when you're waiting on something. Or anyway, that always bothered me. I was like, I don't want to be this person. I've been sitting on MH doing nothing for an hour.
Yeah.
But I can't think of. I mean, took time away. How has MH changed your life in a good way?
So many ways. The major one is people. I have met so many people from MH that I count as genuine friends, really enjoy them, and would be friends with them outside of MH. I mean, if we quit, I would still be friends with them. And so that's fantastic. It has also helped me in a good way because I struggled with a period of time in my life where I really didn't have any sort of purpose. And MH was the kind of the thing that kept me a bit sane during that time period because, without any purpose, I go to a really kind of dark, depressive place. It's not a good thing for me. And so that was quite good. It's also but I would say reminded me of the confidence I used to have when I was like a manager at a restaurant, which is a totally different job than I've done for the last however many years, and something that requires totally different set of skills. And so I've grown kind of in confidence in that type of thing again, which has been good.
For me, Cass and Mads. They're the good things in my life. And Memrah, because we didn't actually know each other before we became involved in this. And so we had to have a talk the other night because I told her I was leaving the site, and I was like, so we still need to be friends.
Are we still going to talk to each other? Yes, we are.
Because I've changed a lot in my life lately, and so we're talking about things we never talked about. So anyway, do you like your usernames?
I love my username. Who would I be without it? I mean, can you imagine me changing my username?
Yeah.
Just saying.
I remember thinking, because I had no clue what I was doing. I told you this. I was an elephant. I didn't know what I was doing. And if I had known what I was doing, because I thought username, like, I don't know, like email, like I use an email, okay? Like, I had no clue what I was doing. And so I would have chosen like a name, like to role play a little bit better and to be like a character on Hogwarts. But then once I got in and realized, like, I was like, well, I mean, I like it. Like, it's me at least. And then I was already in it. I'm not going to change it. Mm-hmm. What was the inspiration? Oh, for your usernames. Mine was an email and I had no clue what I was doing. But I made it off of my name because Iba, Sheba, and Bam, anyway, my last name. Anyway, so it's a morph of my name and Iba, Queen of Sheba. Anyway, whatever.
She would try to be queen from the get-go. Mine was a camp name I was given many, many, many years ago. So I've had it for a long time.
Next question.
Set of questions from Lizzie.
Basil. Basil's a much better name. What subjects did you take? Rank them from favorite to not so favorite. So start at the ones you loved and work your way down.
Rank them from favorite to not so favorite. Okay. History of magic, care of magical creatures. What else did I take? Arithmancy. I took, and probably potions, charms, data, transfiguration, and herbology.
Magical healing, astronomy, the rest. I don't know, but the bottom was charms. So I really like charms in the book. Like, Flitwick is my man, my little man. But anyway, in the class, I guess I was doing the homework wrong, but the teacher didn't grade it until the end of the year. Or no, it was midterm. I think it was midterm. And so my grade was like way down low because she didn't like my sentences or something. And so I got really mad. I was like, well, I'm not taking this class anymore. So that's why I took up charms.
She holds grudges and gets a little bitter.
I do. But anyway, that same professor was my head of house. And so I got to know, I forgave her, but I didn't forgive charms. Because she gave me a lot of grace and freedom in Ravenclaw House. And that was great. but I never went back to charms.
But she couldn't forgive charms.
But so right now I'm taking charms from Marie, and so I made her give me feedback on my first homework because I was still like shell-shocked from my other charms. But anyway, she said I was doing great, but I'm dropping your class, Marie, sorry. Okay. Have you ever gone inactive or come close to going inactive? If so, explain.
No.
Yes. Life happens. I don't know. I actually got to live in my shop for a little while. I was a co-owner of Lumos, and so I set up an apartment up there when I was orange, just for fun.
She was orange for a few weeks.
It wasn't approved or anything, but it was fun. All right. First impression of MH. Gray. I was like, where are the pictures? Why is it so, like, boring? First impression?
I had been on a forum exactly like it, so I didn't have that impression. But my impression was, like, nothing's happening. Because you can only see King's Cross, and I joined in week 5. And in week 5, you know, no advertising has been happening, and everyone's already been sorted for the year, and so it was a dead zone. So I was hoping that all the things I couldn't see, because they tell you, you know, you can see more the more that you know, when you become sorted and that sort of thing. I was hoping that when I begin to see more, that I would see just, like, bustling life. And so, yeah, kind of quiet and dead was my first impression.
First impressions of each other. She ain't all that. She thinks she's into Harry Potter. I'll show her.
You know, she has an ingrained prejudice against Slytherin, but clearly she needs to embrace
clearly it's because I'm so far from Slytherin.
Right. No, my impression, I don't remember. Usually I remember first impressions.
On her phone because she was trying to be sorted.
True. I did think that she probably thought I was crazy about the fact that I was talking about being sorted on my phone and was stalking the sorting hat.
I'm intimidating. Something you really want to achieve on MH.
She couldn't. We know what you wanted to achieve and you didn't do it.
I no longer have any dreams. So I have nothing to achieve, so now I can be friends with people, right?
Yeah.
I can be a Hufflepuff now because I don't care about anything. Because that's what Memrah thinks of you.
I just love how she puts words in my mouth, really.
I just repeat the words that you say.
Whatever.
That's all I do. Talk. What is something you want to... She wants to be an admin.
No, that's not achieving something. That has nothing to do with me.
Because it's expected. But
that's... What?
She wants to go down as the greatest admin in all of the admin. And
that's not... No.
She wants a statue
that's not
achieving of her.
Something. I mean, it's sort of achieving something, but I think they meant, like... You know, a task of some sort.
Say your task.
I want dueling to be, like, something that people love and something that people
goal.
find super, super exciting. They just said achieve.
What's something you're really proud of on MH? We already answered that question. Thank you, Basil. I'm moving on.
Basil.
Favorite. I like Basil better. Favorite part of MH?
Well, of teaching. So I love...
Yeah.
I love my practicals.
When you're not a teacher and your best friend is. Because I'm like, I'm so bored in MH. Being of age. Anyway, I don't want to complain. But she's like, oh, teaching is amazing. I was like, yeah, I applied for that. I didn't get it. Move on. Bitter.
she does get very bitter. But yeah,
so if you get purple, be a teacher. Because apparently it's the best thing ever.
Seeing that changing things, like seeing when people get excited about changes, I would say, and actually making things more enlivened. More lively.
What is one thing you wish were different about MH?
Oh, you're asking me.
Yes.
I wish there was a little bit less red tape. There's sometimes, you know, the system of MH is absolutely fantastic. But occasionally,
occasionally?
Yes, occasionally.
I want to talk about
occasionally, people get stuck. Stop it. And how they do the system. And I think we can fall a little bit more into the mindset of how does this benefit things versus does this actually hurt things. And yeah, I would like to see a little bit more, not exactly freedom, because I think there's a lot of freedom. Like the admin are super approachable. But just as a lot of people have noticed, I tend to be more of a this looks like a good thing. Let's at least try it. More of an active. I'm a very take action kind of person on MH. So
I would like more cowbell. What is the meaning? Oh, username and avatars. Okay. Reem. Favorite thing about Reem?
I like the fact that she tried. She's Carlton. That she set up a shrine, or tried to set up a shrine to herself in my house.
I like whenever we would do Skype videos and she would constantly be like, there's a ghost in my house. And like, oh my gosh, my brother. She was just really fun to watch. She was a complete spaz.
I have not experienced that, so.
Like, seriously, there was a ghost in her house forever. How
much
do you love Reem?
Yeah, we love Reem.
To infinity and beyond, Reem. From 1 to 10, how shocked are you to the fact that I'm going to turn purple in a matter of days?
Oh, we're a little late on that.
This is written 31st January 2018. Oh my goodness.
Sorry.
I am surprised that you are not purple yet, babe. It's been a year. Go purple. Actually, don't.
Don't go.
Stay blue.
Stay blue.
If you could give Reem a new username, what would it be? It would be one without numbers.
Yeah.
I don't like anybody's numbers. When I have to remember your name and remember your numbers, I get upset.
Get upset. I don't like numbers either, for the record. I don't know.
Numbers.
Well, I saw something like, well, Kit Kat Queen would be appropriate.
Yes. Who is your favorite author and why?
I like Frank Peretti. I kind of described him before. He is a Christian author that writes about kind of the spiritual realm and angels and demons kind of thing, but it makes it really action-packed and really exciting, and I just find that really fun.
C.S. Lewis, because Till We Have Faces. Best book. Okay. I hated it until I got to the end, and then the last chapter like changed my life. So now I reread it and I'm like, the whole thing is amazing. But then I get to the end and I have to like set aside a special day in a special place. I have to have like a candle and like I have to see like sunshine, and I have to like honor the experience of reading that last chapter of Till We Have Faces. It's amazing. Look at each other. What is the first word? Stop it laughing at me.
Sorry.
I'm so offended. What is the first? Well, I'm just speaking loud. I can't hear me. I wanted to whisper romantically to her.
Creepy.
What is the first word that comes to mind?
Well, with the way you're currently acting, dramatic.
Nose. I noticed your nose.
Yeah, diva is for me. Mine. And nose is for her.
Nose. All I'm staring at her nose. She had a sore in her nose for like a month.
Ages.
And because she picks.
I do.
And so every time I'd be like, why are you picking your nose?
It's true.
Anyway, but now her nose doesn't have them, but it's still kind of red. And so I look at her nose. But no, I don't think that's the point of the question, but I'm moving on. Okay. Try to speak Arabic. I did this. Okay.
She did this.
Translate the phrase, Reem is awesome in Arabic. I'm going to try to remember it first. And then we'll go back and like actually remember it. I think it was Reem Riai. I'm sure
Something like, yes.
I'm spot on.
Yeah, I'm sure you're dead accurate.
Reem is awesome.
Oh, whoops.
Well,
there's
your shout out, Reem.
Because we didn't say what we were trying to say in Arabic. We forgot the part. So we're supposed to say Reem is awesome in Arabic. So that is how you say it in English, in case you were wondering. Okay. Drum roll, please.
Reem رائعاً.
Reem?
I can't even begin to say that.
Like, is she wrong, Reem? Like, it sounds
Arim.
like...
It sounds like it says
computer
Arim.
skipping.
Arim.
Reem رائعاً.
Reem, right, I am. And
Yeah,
she didn't even spell your
do
name
it.
correctly. They spelled it R-I-M. Reem, I am. And they didn't put an M at the end of it. But it's pretty when they wrote it down. Because everything is pretty in
It looks
Arabic.
pretty. That's true. It is pretty.
Okay. How much do you two love Quidditch?
I love summer Quidditch. I really like the brooms.
You always
I think they
liked
make things fun.
weird Quidditch.
Weird Quidditch?
Like when you got to make special rules.
Yes, that's true. I like to make special rules. Something funny and fun. I don't know, fun special. Of Age Quidditch is nice because we can give each other grief in the thread, so that's always fun.
This is a test to see if you know Reem. Where is she from?
Kuwait.
I was gonna say that. I was also gonna say Lebanon. So, make a poem that must rhyme about each other and one about Reem. So we read through these, and I wrote a poem.
She did. It's beautiful.
Let's see if I can remember it. I didn't write it down or anything because that would be work. Memrah, Memrah, how I love ya. And if I can remember to tell you that I love ya. Something. It was a love poem.
That was it.
But those were the rhymes. Okay, and that's all that matters in a poem. Memrah, how I love ya. I will always remember how much I love ya.
Something like that. So mine was something like, when I think of Iba, I'd say I still can't remember the rest. When I think of Eva,
care about me. I wrote her a love
she's
poem.
such a diva. And if she sees you, she's gonna leave you.
Oh yeah, that's what leave ya.
Leave ya.
With Eva. And then for Reem, it was terrible. I don't remember it. Reem, don't make me scream. I don't remember the rest. Don't make me scream, okay? It had more. The end was better. She tried to put Queen in there, but I didn't want Queen in there.
No, I didn't. No, I put Queen in yours for a minute, and then I took it out because, you know.
Okay. Those are done. Now from Starlight, try to say her name.
Kyla.
Yeah, Kyla.
If you pronounce it other than Kyla, I don't even know what to do with you.
we both think Kyla. I was trying to think of alternatives since you asked the question.
Where's my... sorry, the battery.
We were thinking maybe Keela. I thought Kula.
As I cut off Eva's face. I have to get my cord because my laptop's gonna die.
Because this movie is so short.
Hey, we're in an hour and 20 minutes. Okay, for the record, we've never done a video, I think, that was longer than an hour and 10. We're not doing this hot on this one. We're usually within about an hour.
Videos were 4 hours long.
They were never, no.
We
did this on purpose.
Where did you hear of MH from? I heard it from Memrah.
Are there any of these that can be unplugged?
No.
This one?
No, you cannot touch anything that I own. Oh my gosh, yes, that's my phone. It's not currently plugged in.
Because, I mean, this is huge. You have to...
It's not my fault you have a massive charger.
I suppose I can agree with that.
Very handily attached my, what's it called? Surge protector, power strip to the wall.
She did.
I'm like...
Vertically.
Amazing.
Vertically was a problem for me.
I was so proud of myself. It is hot glue and a thumbtack. I'm so proud.
Anyway.
I had it stickered to my microwave, but it kept falling off for some reason. Where did you hear about MH from?
I Googled it.
Did you ever think that you would stay on the site for 3 whole years?
Not when I was first on it, but then once I got sorted and once I finished first year, I'd made it.
Yeah, she's planning to stay for the rest of her life. I
didn't say that exactly, but...
never considered this a long-term commitment. If you had to give each other a new username, what would it be? Evil. That'd be a cute username.
Evil.
People could call you Evie.
Yeah, how many people are called Evie on site? We don't need any more. That's rude. I would call you...
Beautiful. Sunshine. Queen.
I knew you were going to say Queen.
My
Queen Eva is what should be your username based on you.
Light of my life. Reason to live. Hi. I'm your reason to live.
Yeah, pretty much I got nothing. I would say Slytherin in disguise.
That's why I'm leaving the site. No. How awesome of a CA is Reem?
It's Kyla.
This is to you. Oh.
It's like,
Reem is an amazing CA. Next.
well,
How awesome of a CA is Kyla?
Kyla's great. Yeah, she's great.
That's only one grade, Kyla. You step it up.
Kyla's a lot of fun, and she tries super hard in my class, and I'm really looking forward to when she can help with the practicals.
Oh, a question to me. She asked me how awesome she was with her time-turning skills, because I had to do math for something, and so I hired people to do math for me. And Kyla, you did an amazing job. Thank you ever so much. I don't remember, but I'm sure you did great, because I don't think anybody didn't do great. I think 4 people responded to my plea. Favorite song at the moment? If it's gonna be, it'll be. It'll be, it'll be, it'll be. It's my favorite song at the moment. What's yours?
When You Walk Into the Room by Bethel. I'm not going to sing it.
When you walk into the room, my eyes light up. She wrote that song for me. If you could, what is one aspect of the site you would change? We've talked about that favorite song at the moment. Okay, I skipped one. What is your advice for handling extreme procrastination?
I said this before. If it's a repetitive thing, like weeks and weeks and weeks, I think taking 100 points off for a minute it's late would probably cure it pretty well.
Procrastination is a sign of intelligence because it shows that you're putting something off so that you can put your best self into it, and it actually shows that you're a very hard worker and a perfectionist. I read that online once, and I now claim it for life. If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go? Because you are unable to travel at this moment because you are handicapped.
It's getting better, but I am not so able to travel at the moment. Oh gosh, that breaks my heart even thinking about it.
Sorry, I meant that as a joke. Not really a joke. That's a terrible joke. Sorry. I would go back to where I was because I had to leave. I told you I had medical problems, work problems. I was working in West Africa, and I had to leave. And I was like, I'll be back in like 3 months, and it's been 1.5 years. And so I'd like to go back and say bye properly. I'd like to get my stuff that is still there, like those sparkly shirts. Kyla, was it Kyla? Who's Navi? Navi, that sparkly shirt. It's in Africa. I have nothing. It's all gone because I left for a minute and I'm not going back right now. That's why I got this beautiful background. I brought that back with me.
Lovely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're still answering the question.
Well, I mean, I would still Australia, New Zealand, but I also miss Thailand a ton. Love Thailand, and I never got to go into the Himalayas when I was in Nepal, and that's like my biggest regret. So I would like to do it.
Where would you? No, sorry. Where does she live? Where does Kyla live?
South Africa.
That's not what I was going to say. Another test, juggle. Oh, I know how to juggle. Okay. Okay. I have 3 balls. I have 3 balls. Okay. Memrah.
You actually, here's one.
Stop. Okay. Throw me a ball.
Here you go.
Oh,
Here you go.
I'm juggling 4 balls. I'm juggling 5 balls.
Oh my goodness.
Watch. I'm going to juggle. Oh, I'm juggling in your face. The Office.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
an amazing show. Watch it. Okay. They have a full fake juggling act.
Oh my goodness, no one's going to make it through this video if we don't hurry up.
Do you enjoy our little rants? This question is to you from Kyla. Apparently she rants.
Yes. She rants to me. I occasionally rant to her, usually about
I see an offensive
students.
question. Apparently she sometimes asks to be a Slytherin.
Yes.
Kyla, you are a Ravenclaw. You have the highest honor awarded on site to incoming people. Accept yourself for how amazing you are. Do not try to sully yourself by slithering on the ground. You have legs. Fly.
What?
It works.
Okay. Clearly the Ravenclaws on site are the elitists, not the Slytherins. Just pointing that out.
She wants to know where you learn all your schmancy words from. I do not approve of her using fancy schmancy words on places where people are using normal words.
She's bitter about the fact that I still use the word whom, okay? It's not my fault she's bitter
Who
about
should
it.
die a fiery death.
It should not. I like it. It's proper. I read a ton growing up. I read a ton now. No, I mean, I read a lot, like a historical fiction, a lot kind of stuff. So that's where most of it comes from.
Of Kyla.
Well,
I thought you were good at math. And when I see starlight, I think of stars, and like with your like dark hat, so I think of like a night sky. You are deep space.
So there's a few incoming students that are sometimes a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Hyper. Little hyper. And when I first knew about you, I wasn't sure if you were one of those or not. I couldn't quite figure it out. Like when I first hired you as my CA, I was like, okay, she's great in my class. She has the enthusiasm I'm looking for. I'm going to hire her. But I still wasn't quite sure if you were the more responsible type or the more hyper type. I come to learn that it's quite a balanced balance of the two, which is good. I'm happy with that balance.
Have you girls ever scuba dived? No. I'd like to.
It's really tragic. We've been all over and we've never.
If you had to meet someone from inmate, oh yeah, there's the have to. Sorry.
Yeah, see, I knew it was somewhere.
And lastly, can you predict how much longer you guys will stay on the site?
Well,
I can predict how much longer I will stay on the site.
I can't.
Maybe 10 days if I want to reach 3 years.
No, I have no idea how much longer I will stay on the site. I have had moments before of wanting to leave, but they were more, I was a little overwhelmed with responsibility. And
she's never seriously considered it.
And, yeah, I haven't considered it yet. It was more I saw that there might be a day when I might actually
occasionally she
consider
thinks
it.
that at some point in her life she might ever not log on.
Well, I would never just not log on.
Exactly.
I would tell people I'm leaving and starting a new chapter in my life, but it would be hard for me to get there.
Rowena Riddle, aka Becky Trey. Can you crown her queen of your cocoon?
I think Reem might have something to say about that.
So we'll save that for Reem.
Right.
Okay. Would you rather have legs as long as your fingers or fingers as long as your legs? Fingers as long as my legs. Because if I had legs as long as my fingers, that would look normal. Like people who don't have legs. They have legs as long as their fingers. But fingers as long as your legs, I would be supernatural.
And you can get them amputated. If you really wanted to where they were only like this long at the different joints.
That would be amazing about yourself. Yeah, you could. If you could swap places with one of the admin, which one would you choose? We've already answered that question.
We didn't. No, not swapping. Which one would you want to do your job?
Yeah, I'd still much rather consider whose job I would like to do.
Okay.
Although, who doesn't do anything?
I don't feel like we should answer that question.
I would choose that person. Because I would just like to roam freely and not have any responsibility.
That about sums it up.
Answer and I'll move on.
Who would I want to make do all of my jobs?
I want to answer for you. No, I don't. I'm leaving. I'm not going to make people angry.
Oh, it's like who you want to make do all of my jobs. No. She's done some of them already. We don't need to go there. I don't know. I would kind of like to see Liam do some of my jobs, just because I would like to see.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
He'd do a better job than you, and you'd be upset. Would you rather know when you will die or how you will die? When. That's why I said when. I never answered you. I would like to know when so that I can prepare for it and I can do all the stuff before that. If I only know how, then I'll be like, I gotta avoid this one thing. Or like anytime it comes up, I'll be like, oh my gosh, I don't want to, I'm gonna die. Like what if it's like driving in a car? Then every time I got into a car, I'd be like, I'm gonna die. So I'd rather know when so that I can plan for it.
I don't think I'd want to know either, because you know how stressed you'd be the closer it would get
it's
time to it.
Would you rather? You choose
Okay,
one.
fine, when as well, if that's the case.
Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
We talked about this.
I decided one horse-sized duck because it would be epic. People could take pictures. It would be amazing. Okay.
Versus you getting swarmed by all these little bitty horses.
Duck-sized horses, they could take me out. Like, I know that the horse-sized duck could take me out, but like in my mind, I have a lightsaber, so it's okay. But like 100 duck-sized
not a wand,
horses,
a lightsaber.
100 duck-sized horses, like, oh my gosh, like they're coming from all around, like that. No, I don't like swarms of anything. Happy anniversary! Reem said that she cannot be queen of the cocoon because the cocoon is hers. So Reem did answer.
She already started it. Is that it? Are they done?
Well, talk. I'm looking off screen.
Sorry,
you
she's looking off screen. Talking. Wait, I talk enough. People don't need to hear me talk anymore. I feel like if you ask the people I pester all the time, nobody asks me that question. Who do you pester most on site? I definitely pester Liam the most by any day of the week.
He's not talking. We're done.
Oh, okay.
Apparently there were some questions on her
Clara, but I couldn't find them. I'm sorry,
Skype,
Clara. I love you.
But she is disorganized and she doesn't care. So she decided not to use them.
Well, I couldn't find them, and I would just like to give a shout out to everybody in Arkham, to everybody who's a Slytherin, to all of the chess people. Smart.
Giving a shout out to everyone
Smart.
is not effective.
You are doing a phenomenal job as the chess AM. Can I just tell you, phenomenal job. Really, really impressive. Yeah. Kylie, you're great as my CA. I have so many employees, I can't list all my employees. Like, I counted them, I have 19. Employees in different avenues on the site. Yeah. But what you're the one leaving. Give your final message.
Yes. I very much enjoyed my time on MH, and it will be hard not to log in again. What I miss most of the years gone by, the years spent as a Ravenclaw, because I had to work to be a Ravenclaw. And I loved it very much. And yeah, being on the site, it just really gave me a sense of belonging. I just would get online. I'd be like, where do I go online? I don't know where to go. Like, I would just go to Google and be like, things to do. Like, I would have no clue what I was supposed to do. Like, I want to go surf the web. There's nothing to do here. I'm going away. But then all of a sudden I had a home and I could go inside Ravenclaw. I could talk. I could play a stupid game. I could just stare at it and hit refresh and wait till somebody comes in. I could go to the library and try to win some points. I just had something to do. And that meant a lot to me, especially as I was traveling or just doing different things. MH has meant a lot to me. And I just haven't been able to get into it lately. We talked about, have you ever thought about leaving? I've been thinking about leaving for the past year. It's nothing new.
Real life year.
It seems like something new. So when I told some people I was leaving, I didn't tell them very well. And so I guess a couple of them wrote to Memrah and they're just like, why? Like, is she just mad about one thing and she's leaving? No, I'm not just mad about one thing. I was just trying one more thing to stay. And I was like, oh my gosh, I think as a mayor I could do this. And I got all excited again. But I couldn't do those things. So I was like, oh, well, I'm going to go back to leaving. And I've been tired. I don't like the whole, am I leaving, am I not leaving? Like, oh, I'll just not be active. No, I'd rather do something well or just not do it. And I haven't been doing it well for the past year. And I try to get into it. If I could access this at work, I'd probably be able to stay around. But I stare at a computer all day at work. I work from home and I work a full-time job, and both of them are on the computer. And so the last thing I want to do when I get home is open up the computer because my eyes are usually strained from staring at a computer screen. And so I'm not able to do MH while working, which, it's 10 hours of my day. 11. Anyway. So it's just biting the dust right now. Maybe some other year I might be like, hey, I really miss this. I'm sure Memrah's going to keep talking about it. And I'll really like to hear the stories. I kind of feel like this is when I stopped reading Game of Thrones because it just got too nasty for me. There's a lot of really adult stuff. And I just, when I read something, like when you read something, you just insert yourself in that world. And I didn't want to be inserted in that world anymore. It's a really dark world. But I still want to hear what's happening with all those people. I'm so hungry for all those stories, and that's how I feel when I talk to Memrah, because she has all these stories about people that I've come to know, even though I've never met them, or even though that I don't have relationships with them myself. I've learned so much about them through Memrah. Like, she'll tell me something about somebody, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I didn't know they were so amazing, and so now I want to hear their stories too. And so I get to hear a lot of things through her. And she's the reason I've stayed on for so long, because she brings so much more life to the site than I can find in it. Just because, as I said, this is my first and only forum This isn't exactly the kind of thing I do. I'm a bit more passive. Um, but, and so I'll still be connected with you guys through that. And if you ever want to say anything to me, just say it to Memrah, and either she'll find a way for you to connect with me or she'll just tell me herself. But like I'm not even on Skype much anymore. I was on the Skype groups, but I locked myself out on my phone, like through the two-way. They did these little two-step verifications, and I apparently used a foreign phone number for one of them. And so,
Way to go.
Oh my goodness! So I don't know how to get back in. I can access on my computer, but as I said, I don't do that. But anyways, I don't know why I'm going off these random things. I'm trying to say goodbye, but probably because it's hard to say goodbye. But yeah, and so it's weird because I'm leaving because, you know, things haven't worked out the way I want, but I'm not angry. The people on the site, they work really hard to make sure that they're protecting what is great about MH and to make sure that they're providing as realistic an experience as possible, you know, that you can do online. They're enriching the site, and they really work really hard, especially some of them. Liam, and I've been so impressed lately because Memrah tells me about all the different changes he's been making and really opening up and saying, let's add some more life to this. Let's do something different and do something fun. And I've just really loved all his changes lately, although I just heard of one I didn't like, but one. So one out of like 20. And I didn't even notice it. So apparently I wasn't too upset about it. But I think it's moving in some really good directions. And that's because of the leadership. And I know that, you know, I see Memrah working so hard, and how much work she puts into it. And she really cares about each of you. She really does. And I know that she tries to have really good conversations with you guys and like tries to impact your lives for the better. And that's really good because mostly I just try to make jokes. And so I'm not putting as much into it as others do. I promise I have real conversations with people outside of MH, I promise. But no, yeah, and most of my people have left. Mads leaving was a big thing for me. And one part of Mads leaving had to do with a decision that got made, and I never really got over that. Because she and I were going to do something together, and they decided that it wasn't the best for the site, and, you know, they have their reasons, and I was like, well, now Mads is gone again. And so those friendships really mean a lot. And I don't make many of them because I'm a real person. I'm a real person. But no, I meant like one of those people that just have like one or two friends. Mm-hmm. I just have one or two good friends, and that's it. Like I recently had a friend from high school be like, hey, we should hang out. I was like, oh my gosh, I already see 2 people every week. Like, I see Memrah and I see that Nicole girl that we already talked about. Those are my 2 people.
That Nicole person.
That I see every week. I'm like, I can't possibly put another person in here. So, I mean, I'm that way online too. I'm like, well, I talked to Mads and I talked to Memrah. Oh my gosh, I can't possibly start a relationship with somebody else. And so it's just been hard for me to reach out. And I'm an awkward conversation starter. Because I'll just answer a question. I'm not going to ask another one. Anyway, I'm terrible at that. And so even when people reach out to me and they're like, oh, let's be friends. I'm like, yeah, let's be friends. Like, hope you're ready to work hard. Because I'm going to like
you
stop
have to chase her down
questions.
if she doesn't answer a certain period of time.
I don't mind being chased down.
Right. You can do it.
Marie still, she still works on it. But although I'm leaving the site. But no, we're friends on Facebook. So Marie, I believe in you. And Marie, I really do like your charms class, and I'm really sorry I didn't finish it. I'm just not that into doing homework, but I really liked your classes. I really liked the way you did them. I just want to give you a little shout out there. I was her first student, I guess. Not for, obviously I'm not in charms in Hogwarts, but in Wiz U. So she makes good Wiz U classes. But yeah. It was a good chapter of my life, but it was just a chapter. For Memrah, it's, you know, a book. But
it is a book.
Yeah, that's the difference.
It is. No, I think you're right. I think it's the difference.
But love you guys.
You too.
And maybe I'll sneak into her 4th anniversary video. Because she can't do it without me.
Clearly, I can't do an anniversary video without you.
Yeah.
But, I mean, would you really want me to? Who's the funny one here? We know who it is.
Who's the pretty one?
Anyway. All right. Well, love you, H. Signing off. Bye.